but one of my friends asked me if I could recreate this set of watercolors that White Nights made from a photo, because I don't have the set. I was gifted some of the tubes by a family member a little over a year ago, but I don't have any of the other colors and I'm not planning on getting them. But they are really pretty. And looking at the pigment list, like, they should be recreatable. So I'm gonna try. I don't know how close I'll get, but some of them, they seem quite easy to recreate. Lots of them just have black added to a single color to give you the granulation. So I have the entire pigment list written out here. So this is a list of pigments that all the colors use. It's not a huge list. I was actually expecting significantly more pigments for this entire set. So we're going to start by going through what pigments this set uses, and then we're going to get into mixing them. I'm not pulling up the 9 I have. I might at the end, but I really want to see if at this point I can mix to just a picture. So there's only one yellow that's used in this entire set, and I think it's only used in 2 colors, maybe 3, but I have to find it first. So we have green, we have black, we have red, we have orange, we have brown, we have a watercolor that doesn't need to be there. We have another red. We have a blue. We have a blue. We have a yellow, which I'm going to put there. So I'm going to throw you up there. Another red. We have a purple, green, blue, green, red, blue, blue, red. So these aren't actually in order. I tried to not use White Nights paints for this, which could make this interesting. There were a couple that I just had to use White Nights paints because I don't actually own another version, like PB 15.6, PR 187, PR 188. I just don't own another version. For ones that I did own another version of, I compared the White Night swatch to the version I chose just to make sure that it was close, for the sake of like trying to get a similar mix. And it's a mix of handmade and big brand, though most of them are honey based. Winsor Newton isn't, Daniel Smith isn't, I don't think Schmincke is, but Cosmic is, Roman Szmal is, of course White Nights is. Artistic Isle, I don't know if it's honey based, but it does use a softer, let's say softer binder. Like, it looks like it'll be a really hard paint and it isn't. Goes there, the brown, and so that is the color palette that makes up this entire granulating palette. And I think it should be possible to mix them all without needing to have the colors. We'll see. When I edit this, I'll end up like adding in the color swatches, but still haven't figured out how to do this on live with, you know, a picture on the screen. So we have PG7, PG17, PG19, PBK8, PBK11, PBR7, PR101, PR122, PR170, PR187, PR188, PR264, PY3, PO64, PV23, PB15.3, PB15.6, PB28, PB29, and PB35. They're all, I'd say it's a pretty nice primary palette. I would probably put more yellow in if it was actually a primary palette I was using, but it's not. We're just mixing it. And I'm sort of going to work through it this way. I've started it pretty like pinks and reds and working my way through to the blues and greens. And I think that's how I'm going to work through it. I think that'll probably work best. So tidy up these swatches. I'll pull out them as I go, just so that it's easy to see what's being used. Pop this in. Absolutely destroy the spine of this book, but I don't care. Oh, I do care because now you're rubbing up against the tripod. Okay. Maybe it's more important to see the phone than it is to see the book. Go with it is. The first color is Scarlet Mist, which is like this burgundy brown. As high as you go, it is as high as you go. Like burgundy brown color. It's pretty. And it is PG19 and PR187. So let's get into this. PR187 is, I should have just like flopped these on my laptop in a way that I could have actually still seen the swatches. All right, PR187 is this. It is the Madder Lake Light. And we're adding PG19 to it. Again, not, I would have thought you made like the orangey color, but sure. That looks sort of scarlety. So from the picture, it's got like really orange, really like orangey black granulation. So we'll see if this has it. Oh, I like that. I don't know if it's what I'm going for, but I like it. Is that what I actually want? Yeah, it sort of is actually. All right, so this is Scarlet Mist. Then we have, what's next? Ruby Mist, which is again PG19, which is, I'm using the Schmincke version because I like it a lot better. I opened it yesterday. It's great. And then we have PR170, which is Cherry by Cosmic Creations. I should probably just pre-wet this entire palette. That's very brown. Yeah, let's add some more red. I think my PR 170 is too bright. Like it's got a much more ruby undertone in the White Nights version from the looks of it. Whereas this drying a bit weird. Middle section is drying faster. This is the first time I'm using the Paul Rubens paper. Amazon was out of stock of the Bao Hong paper I like. So I'm trying something new and I'm not sure that I like it. I would actually say now that this one's drying, it's not that far off. Like it's missing a bit of the dark. Like Ruby Mist, especially in its mass tone, is a bit more dark and black. But I don't hate that. Next up, we have Orange Mist. Why did I not pre-wet everything? Let's do that fast. Because like some of these blacks take ages, these blacks and greens. Let's be smart about this. I'm pretty much only doing this because one of my friends challenged me to do it, and it actually seemed like a fun idea. Oh, this should be fine black and then Lunar black. One of my friends actually that owns a paint shop challenged me to do this to see if I had reached the point in mixing colors now that I could mix a set without actually having the set. And I said I didn't think I could do it, and she said she thought I probably could. So we'll see who's right. I have a feeling she's probably right. I don't actually paint with orange all that often. It's just not a color I reach for. I feel like there's too much black. I also feel like this paper takes watercolor oddly. I don't know that I like it. It was the only paper that I could get in the block size I like on Amazon. So if anyone has suggestions, on blocks, let me know. This orange feels wrong. It's too bright. The orange just, it feels too bright. And then we have Hematite Mist. So this is a color I actually have. PB. PR. And I do like this color. It's a nice, it's still too, it's a nice granulating color. I would say that their swatch makes it look, I feel like it's less purple than this swatch makes it look. I think this is still too purple. Oh yeah, way too purple. Way too purple. think that's probably better. Watch me be wrong and it's actually purple. I'm thinking of the wrong color. I also like how they're getting progressively longer. Like they started out pretty small and now they're just like long. Mist. What's next? Gray Rose Mist. I think I might have this one. Oh, it's a fun mix. It's a little bit of blue and a little bit of that green. Not what I thought would be in there. And a little bit of this. Huh. Oh, that's fun. I can already tell you I think this is way too pink, but it's really pretty. I almost like that more than the original. So let's just counteract that pink with a little bit more green and blue. There. Let me know if you want me to pull out the ones that I do have in pans and compare. I wasn't going to. Now that that orange mist is drying, like the orange seems too bright, but the granulation seems like it might be right. I still don't know how I feel about this paper. It's supposedly 100% cotton, and I'm sure it is. It just like has a different feel than the Bao Hong or the Fabriano that I normally use in blocks. This is Gray Rose. What's next? Violet Mist, which is the same three pigments. All right then. The same three pigments except more purple. The blue gray mist isn't the same, is it? Oh no, it's turquoise rose. Interesting. Maybe it's the texture that I don't like of this paper. Like the granulation is just settling down oddly. And I think that's my issue with it. It's almost too textured for what I want. Violet Shadows, which is PBK. They are really a fan of this pink. And to be fair, if I was a company where I was the only person that made... Nope. That's wrong. I've written down the wrong pigment information on my sheet. They are a fan of that pink, and they have every right to be because they're the only company that still has it in their product line. And if I were them, I would be a huge fan of it as well. And use it as much as possible just to, you know, show off. I will say it's probably my most used White Nights paint just because no one else makes it. So PBK. PV. And I went with the Schmincke Violet. Because I think it has like the right purple. Yeah. So there are some of these that are definitely very easy to mix that I'd say, like, if it's a single, like just adding black to a color, don't buy granulating colors like that. They're so easy to make yourself if you've got the blacks, and even if you don't already have the blacks in your palette, there's some of the colors that I'd always recommend adding because they make creating granulating colors so easy. Hello. I am trying to mix. One of the shops I work with challenged me to mix a granulating color palette from only the picture from the brand. So this is the White Nights granulating color set, which are Russian made, so they're pretty much impossible to find these days. And so the shop that I work with challenged me to create them just from a picture. And so far, I would say that some of them are there. Some of them have been really easy. Some of them have been less easy. And I have a couple of them that were gifted to me, so I could pull them out and swatch them. I have a couple of them that were gifted to me about a year ago. So I could always swatch them and see how close I got on those ones. For now, though, what color is this? This is Violet Shadows. Next up is Rose Mist, which is PB28. So Cobalt Blue and Quinacridone Magenta, specifically the 122 version. I had too much on my brush. It might actually be the right color. That color looks to be absurdly bright in that picture. But do you look like washed out? I have to say, this is an interesting challenge. It isn't something I would have picked myself. Every time I look at this set of colors, specifically like the reds and oranges in it, I go, oh, they look super cool. But I wouldn't have picked like trying to mix it by myself. It's turning into an interesting challenge though. It's very different than the Schmincke ones where, you know, I had the colors right next to me. And so if something seemed wrong, I could just swatch them. I'm also wondering if maybe I'm getting closer because I'm not actually directly focusing on the colors. I'm looking at like what they look like through a screen instead of looking at them in front of me. So I'm not spending so much focus on that. I'm actually paying attention to the pigment numbers. 29 and 122. Okay. So this next one is just a difference in blue. And I think I have this one in my palette, actually. I think this was one of the tubes that was gifted to me by a family member as a gift. And I would say that looks pretty spot on. So that's Lilac Mist. And then we have Blue Shadows, which is 29 and PBK 11, which in this case I'm using Lunar Black. I had 2 black options. I just felt like Lunar Black fit the granulation of this set better. You need more black. I was worried I put in too much black, but I under-blacked you. And other weird phrases. I have a fluff. So my original plan was to like print out the like sheet, but we don't have a color printer, and I was not organized to get it to the print shop in town. So yep, this is Blue Shadows. I wonder which ones I actually have. I think I have 9 of them. 9 of the, I think there's 21 now. Blue Mist. Is PB 29 and PG 7, which apparently makes turquoise. It does make turquoise. Huh. Learn something new every time you do one of these videos. It needs to be a little bit more blue. This almost reminds me of Ocean Blue from Roman Szmal. Or I think it's Roman Szmal's Ocean Blue. Now I wonder what the pigment numbers are for that. They're the same. Who knows? What's next? Dark Blue Shadows. Are we there? No, we are. Yeah, this is Blue Mist. I think this is definitely going to be thrown into my like water mix rotation. Where's my swatch for it? Ah, there's the book. I don't want to pull up the spreadsheet for pigment numbers, but I am willing to find my swatch for it. There's at mass tone and there's at washed out. I think it's actually more similar to Crazy Haze from 31 Purple Fish, where it's got like the dark teal with the specks of blue. Which is quite similar to the original. Interesting. So I thought that one of my swatches did say Gray Blue Mist for the White Knight set. And that is not on this list of colors. So let's check the spreadsheet, because it is not on this list of granulating colors from White Nights. So I wonder if they've discontinued it. Gray Blue Mist, Sky Blue Shadows, Gray Blue Mist. I wonder if no, because Blue Shadows is on this list as well. Well, we will add it to the list. Are there any others that are missing? Nope, nope. Shadows. Interesting. So for whatever reason, Gray Blue Mist does not appear in this image at all. And so I'm going to pull out, I've added it to the bottom of the sheet, and I'm going to pull out the little swatchy swatch of it, and we'll just do it at the end, because that's really confusing. I wonder if they decided it was too similar to Blue Shadow. It is pretty similar. I'm actually going to throw it in down here underneath Blue Shadow and just like adjust the pile a little bit, because it's not all that different. It would help if I hadn't like just drowned that in. And as always, like the granulation you get is with a black is going to be different when the black isn't mulled into the paint. It's still interesting that it's not included in the set. So that's what the swatch of it looks like. Because I was sure when I was doing the gray rose mist that there was a gray blue mist. I'm also now sure that this is too pink. I don't even have to swatch it, and I know it's too pink. So, what are we on now? Dark Blue Shadow. So this one, I had to use another White Nights color because I did not have PB 15.6 in a different brand. I only have one PB 15.6. Mm-hmm. Use a little bit more black. I actually think my initial one was closer. The second one was too black. Cobalt Mist is 28. Oh, I forgot to grab PBK7. Do I have a PBK7? What is PBK7? I don't have a PBK7. Huh. I bet you PBK7 is the weird Holbein one. That's like peach pit black or something. PBK7 watercolor. Mayday base. Black. I do have it. Why don't I have a swatch of it? I know exactly what it is. It is Lamp Black by White Knights. That's PBK7. So let's go Cobalt Blue. And PBK7. I will say that this is probably my favorite color in the set. I think. Out of all the colors, the Cobalt Blue Mist is probably my favorite. It and the Hematite Mist are sort of the most unique. I'm officially out of clean palette space. So this is Cobalt Mist. And let's wipe down this palette. I think it's always so fun to see how granulating colors just like expand on a palette and dry down. They're always so pretty. I think we're a little over halfway done. Will we fit all 22 colors on the same page? It does have me wondering if like they've discontinued a color or if they've decided to only sell 21 colors because 21 is sort of the max you can fit in a standard palette using full pans. Like anything more than 21 pans in a full pan palette, like you're getting into weird size palettes. And so I'm almost wondering if that's why they've gotten rid of the gray blue mist. I also think I've switched my gray blue mist and my blue shadows. I think my blue shadows should have been the color of my gray blue mist, and my gray blue mist should have been the color of my blue shadows. But you can only do so much. It's also like the middle of the week, and so no palettes are clean, which is, I think, what I've been saying since Saturday. I've been procrastinating cleaning palettes. It's just not my favorite thing to do. Normally I'd clean them properly, but I actually don't have another clean palette to use for the next half of this video. So we are stuck mediocrely cleaning a palette in the middle of a video. Next up is Turquoise Rose Mist, which is sort of like Misty Morning by Szmal. Pigment numbers are different, but like color-wise, it's similar. We start with Winsor Newton, Winsor Red Deep. We actually don't. We start with Cobalt Blue, which is the first pigment number in this mix. I'm almost surprised that there's no white in this, based on how light their swatch is. But, you know. Nope, you're still too purple. Why aren't you sitting flush? That does say, that says PB28 and PR264. Like, I've got the right got the right pigment numbers, but it's supposed to be like a turquoisey blue. Scroll over to it. That's what it's supposed to look like. Like a turquoisey blue, and that is not what we have. And I don't know how you get it with just those two pigment numbers, which is sometimes the way I feel about these sets. Actually, like now that that one's drying, I think it's really pretty. It's just like not what we're going for. You can definitely see why these two are such popular colors in comparison to some of the Schmincke colors, because you've got like the pops of pink and like even the reds and oranges, like they just sort of, in my opinion, have more going on than the Schmincke colors. Let me know if you want to see a video where I compare like all of the really granulating and separating colors on my palette. It would be a really long video because it would include like 31 purple fish and some of the cosmic paints and Szmal. I think Daniel Smith has some, and of course Schmincke and the few White Knights ones I have. But I think it could be interesting to like see them compared to each other and just see what the different granulation actually looks like. Sky Blue Shadows is a turquoise that you get with, I'm so confused. You get it with Cobalt Blue and black. I know enough about pigment numbers to like get pigment numbers, and I also know enough about pigment numbers to get totally confused by pigment numbers. Because the pigment numbers they're giving us won't make a turquoise. I can't think of a single PB28 that will give you a bright turquoise like that color. Like PB28s are all, you look at Okutano, but I can't think of a single PB28 that's not, yeah, oh, Cobalt turquoises. Do I have White Knight's Cobalt Turquoise? I don't, but I have Cosmics. Let's see if I know where I put it. I do. All right. There's the Cosmic Cobalt Turquoise. Let's try this again without actually activating this paint because I don't want to wait. Too much black. All right. Sky blue shadows. What's next? Dropped my notebook. Chromium Cobalt Mist. You could be a blue or you could be a green. That's your base. Well, let's start with that. Let's start with the green. I'm actually going to start with the blue version of 28. Just because it's sort of more likely that it's the blue. Maybe I was wrong and it was the green. Actually, I don't think I was. It looks to be very... I'm wondering if almost the pigment numbers are flipped. It's very heavy on the green and fairly light on the cobalt. That almost looks to be the right color. Yeah. I think the pigment numbers for some of these are flipped, which we've run into before in the Schmincke sets. I believe it's Tundra Pink. It lists ultramarine blue before Potter's Pink, which doesn't work. There is no universe where you can add more ultramarine blue than Potter's Pink and get a pink. This is so I'm not surprised that there was at least one where the pigment numbers were flipped. I'm actually pretty sure that there's more than one that I've just like sort of just skipped past. Green Mist is 28 and PY3. This is another one that could be flipped. You're also going to start with the yellow just so that I don't super contaminate that color. Yellow, 28. And very bright. That's fun, but not what we're looking for. Huh, that's what we're looking for. So are you... It's like close to what we're looking for. Are you a mix of two and you're just not labeled as being that? I would guess you are. You're still more... Getting a nice green with a cobalt blue and a really bright yellow is really hard. Once again, I've gone past green and I'm now into the world of teals. And this is like an earthy green. It's an earthy green. Okay. PB 28. Nope, I'm still getting that really bright green. That's interesting. Green Mist. Green Shadows is PBK 11. And PG 7. It should be fairly easy. Yep, that was easy. Yellowish green mist. PB Cerulean. I won't have to clean the palette again. Cerulean and yellow. I'd say that's definitely a yellowish green. I think it's far lighter than what they were aiming for. It's more of a highlighter green than what they're talking about there, but it is a really fun green. Yellowish green mist. Talaglia mist. T-A-I-G-A. Sure, let's go with that. PBR and PB 15.3. The PBR I chose was Cypress Raw Umber. I was just like, I looked at all my PBRs and I sort of went, that one. It's how I pick colors. I really like this. It's actually really fun. I like the blue in it. Oh, that's like a really fun way to make a dark green. Not how like I'd ever normally make a dark green, but a really fun way to make a dark green. Aquamarine Mist, which is what? Very blue. Again, sort of reminds me of Ocean Blue by Szmal. I think it's just got that sort of color to it. It's like the green version of Ocean Blue. Key B. And PG7. There we go. So there are all 22 colors, even though the original photo only showed 21 for whatever reason. And I ended up pulling one extra color into the palette. I needed the blue version of this color. Overall, though, it's a pretty fun. There's some fun colors. I doubt that I'll ever have the full set to compare it to. I do have some of them though, so if you want to see a part 2 where I compare what I've mixed to what they actually look like, let me know. There are definitely some that I'm going to be incorporating like into my work. This yellowish green mist is really fun. I think I've got lilac mist. I just often overlook it because I forget that it does have this really fun granulation. Blue mist is going to be really fun in water, I think. And I want to play around with turquoise rose mist a bit more because I don't understand how they get to the color they get to at all. Like, no part of me understands that. Oh, I bet you it's this other turquoise. Do I have any clean palette next to me? No, of course not. That would be logical and lovely. And like mean that I'd actually cleaned palettes this weekend. I bet you it's with the turquoise version. titch of that. Basically, you're getting to Misty Morning the same way, but with a different blue. I think Misty Morning uses the Daniel Smith. Yeah, there we go. So you just need the other version. You just need the turquoise version. That's fun. Nice to figure that one out. I do like playing around with mixes like this. I think it makes your brain work in a different way, which is a lot of fun and can be really helpful if you're like trying to figure out mixing or get better at mixing. Even mixing to like a set photo is better than just like not having any idea what you're trying to create, I find. So thanks for watching. Let me know which color's your favorite. I think it's really far off from what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be much more muted, but I love this greenish yellow mist. I will leave all the pigment info below in case you want to try something like this yourself. I do think like finding colors and pigment numbers from a set and trying to recreate them yourself are a great practice if you want to get better at mixing. We did it a lot in the Grays series. I think there's a Grays part 4 coming up soon. It was hard to pick colors for the next part of the Grays series, but I think I've picked my next 5. So that should be coming up shortly. And it was definitely fun to mix for a set of colors that I don't think I'll ever add to my palette just because of where they're made. But they are fun colors to just look at and sort of break down into pigments. So thanks for watching.